And when Rudolf Steiner introduced the world of education and qualified the first Waldorf teachers, in his first lecture, he started to talk about what were the reasons for the First World War and how do we need to create conditions for a development of the young people that when they grow adult, they will not have a desire to make war. So for him, the diagnosis was, as long people are educated first in a completely materialistic way, based on facts, on natural science, and that says, of course, the whole Big Bang out of which our evolution came was a huge accident, and every human being as part of this evolution is an accident. As long we grow up with a mindset that we are finally an accident, then we don't have this desire really to come to the roots. Why do we are here on earth, live a human life? And what is the meaning of this life? And for Rudolf Steiner, the consequence of this materialistic thinking was that people want to have the maximum of this life as money, fun, enjoyment, and that they follow their very personal egoistic desires. And so he says, if we want to change that, we need to accomplish this wonderful natural scientific worldview, which Rudolf Steiner studied himself and appreciated very much. But he always said we need to accomplish this materialistic worldview by spiritual insights, by all those insights who can remind us that we are coming out of a spiritual world, that we have a mission on earth, that we can develop something on earth which is unique, and that then when we die, we live in, again, an invisible spiritual world. And so his formula was, we need an education which is based on altruism, on a real interest for each individual, and on a co-responsibility for this evolution. Of course, we need a healthy egoism to care for ourselves and so on and so forth, and to know what are our needs. But that is not the goal of life. That is the precondition to be able to serve others. So the beauty of this word selflessness is, in the beginning, is a strong self. And then we learn to overcome only our own needs, purposes, and so on, and be really open for the needs of the others and learn to serve. So for him, education was service, so that each child finds its developmental conditions for its own journey and to find his, her own destiny and mission for life. So this is one very important new orientation in our time, that we really ask this question, what is human dignity? What is it really? And what is the invisible? What is the spiritual? Rudolf Steiner was very clear. It is our human thinking, feeling, and willing. These are invisible, pure soul forces. We cannot see them with our eyes. We cannot touch them with our hands. But we have them. And the big riddle was for him, why do we have that? Because with our thoughts, we make our plans. With our feelings, we make our connections. We are in resonance with our environment. And with our will, we act, we change the world. It matters what we do. It is not nothing, and it is not an accident. It is planned. It is, achieved. It was our decision. So he was asking, why do we as humans have this potential that we are co-creators in this evolution? Because when we look at the minerals, the plants, the animals, and even technology, which is human-made, they have all one thing in common. They are functioning perfectly. Technology only if we make it perfect, but minerals, plants, and animals are by nature perfectly made. Every animal lives along its own instincts, drives a perfect individual and social life. No need for kindergarten, no need for learning, no need for all what troubles us as humans. Why are animals, from the smallest mosquito to the biggest elephant, why are all these animals so specific, so wonderfully worked out and living in nature, without illness? If an animal becomes weak, it is either quickly eaten up by another animal, or it is weak and is not able to nourish itself anymore and will die very soon and soft. So to live with an illness or with problems, with special needs, that is specific human. And already the first meaningful Western philosopher, Platon in ancient Greek, he made the right diagnosis considering this. He said, humans are incomplete, deficitarian creatures. Yeah, and what does this mean? That means he is not able by nature to develop perfectly to become a human being. He has to undergo education. He has to undergo self-education. He has to undergo self-knowledge. He has to learn lifelong. And that is the result of his incompleteness by nature. Yeah, and Rudolf Steiner was the one who understood how this works. Most of you may know that since we have medicine, since ancient China, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine in India, we always have learned 5 principles which can make humans ill or healthy. And even Aristotle worked with these 5 principles, and he started already to think in a scientific way. He said we have one principle, these are the laws of matter, of solid matter. Then we have the laws who direct liquid matter. And we have the laws who direct airy matter. And then, when matter stops with the air, we have even laws who direct warmth. Warmth is pure quality, but has an enormous influence. Some degree more warmth, we have high fever, or the planet is in the process of change, or water is cooking. So warmth is, with its laws, directing the aggregate state of matter. It can bring solid into liquid, liquid into airy, and airy into nothing, into the plasma state of matter, pure energy. So Aristotle found already the invisible which is directing matter are the laws who are directing the solid, the liquid, the air, and the warmth. He named it the fire. But then Aristotle spoke also about a fifth principle, pempteusia, in Latin quinta essentia. And that is purely spiritual. And Rudolf Steiner found out of what this purely spiritual fifth principle is consisting. And what is that? Our thinking, feeling, and willing. Here we handle all the laws of evolution. We can think how everything is functioning. We can make clear relationships with our feeling. We know the bondings and how to connect and how to disconnect. How to experience the laws. How to sense, how to be in a personal resonance with what we think. We can feel the beauty of a thought or the destructiveness of a thought. We can feel the invisible and the visible. We can feel everything. And we can transform. We can act. We can be creative and destructive. And he found out, Rudolf Steiner, that in our human evolution, this wonder is happening, but it's also a challenge for all of us, that nature holds back and is not creating us to become a perfect human being. So all the wisdom of evolution is held back in us as humans and gives us the chance to use these hold back possibilities to become perfect in a total free way, because we get all those creative forces which are not working in us by nature, by drives, by instinct, that we get all this wisdom which is held back in our constitution by nature in form of this invisible fifth principle, so that we can become self-aware, self-experiencing, self-guiding us and our environment, and use these forces to create the best conditions for children to grow up healthily and strong for life. So that is the first, what we really have to consider. We are spiritual beings. We can awake in our fifth principle and realize the laws who are directing this evolution, they are eternal. They let the evolution come and develop, and one day other stages of development will come, and then we die, then a transformation takes place. But our thoughts are eternal, our feelings are eternal, our will is eternal. These are the laws of evolution. So therefore, antroposophy, which is this wisdom of the human being, of the visible and the invisible human being, bringing together materialistic knowledge of the visible and spiritual knowledge, which is directing the visible, that this is what we need to know to really give the child this security and this clear, this clear image. If we are around a child, dear child, we are all coming out of an invisible spiritual world, and the earth is our framework, is our space to become aware that we are individuals. Because wherefrom comes our I consciousness, our egoistic, healthy egoistic manner? It comes because we experience a solid physical body with clear borders. I learn from my physical body that I am a unique, formed individual on my own feet. And I learn from the laws of the liquid in my body, which is doing all the digestion and so on, breathing, nourishing, that I am a social being, that I connect with the whole life, that I'm totally depending on other creatures, on the air, on the water, on my environment. I learn when I reflect my liquidity, I learn how I am connected. And with the laws of the air, I learn that a loving, harmonious relationship with my environment is the best for me and for others. And I learn when I come to my own that I am a being in which not only nature is holding back its forces and powers and gives it to me, but that I can do the same. Humans can hold back themselves. Animals cannot. If a dog is smelling a sausage, he will rapidly run there and eat it if he is hungry. Humans can share the food and even hold back to eat if there are others who need it more. And therefore we can become a strong self and selfless, hold back our own needs and give space for others. So a teacher needs really that sort of self-reflection and a caregiver so that he or she is able to hold back and to give space for the child's own activity, and only creates borders and conditions where the child is endangered. Because that is where we then need to come forward with our knowledge and with our competency. There is a very interesting book already published in the 70s, and the title is The Disappearance of Childhood. by Neil Postman. A very interesting book. And he gives two main reasons after a beautiful description how the concept of childhood did develop throughout humanity's history. It's a very nourishing, interesting book. But then he says there are two reasons why we are endangered to let our children lose their childhood. One is that we treat children like little adults. We talk too much, we try to explain. We don't let children find out of their own curiosity, their own desire to move, to discover, to find the knowledge by their own. So he describes what Rudolf Steiner says as well to the teachers. He said, a good teacher can only create the best possible conditions for the self-activity of the child. Children develop the best, the brain is forming the best, if children are self-active in the first 7 years of life, imitating, exploring, discovering their environment. Therefore, the environment must be utmost good as possible. And humans as well. When we are around children, this calls the best up in us to be open for the needs of the children and to give a good example how to behave as a human being. But the second, he says, is that we inactivate children when we give them screen, TV, computer, tablet to watch. And the third, sexualization. Far too early to give them permanently images of sexuality, because this harms their dream state, the specific child's mindset, which is so different from our adult mindset. And now we come to the core of my contribution. What is really helpful for children to give them back their childhood? That we first observe what are the children's natural learning disposition in the first 7 years of life, and then later in school as well. Each year of development of our physical and emotional and mental development has its own window of opportunity where children are learning, what? Where children are learning to discover and to experience themselves and to become active in their environment. And most of us know children in the first year of life. What are they doing? They are moving, and more from the 3rd month on, watching. They are like a big eye. They are full attention. They are not yet talking. They are observing. They are opening all their senses, but the main sense is the sense of touch and the sense of eye and the sense of balance, which is more and more developing because the child is focusing to achieve the upright position, the balance of its own body, to keep all the movements in balance finally, and to be able to do the first steps. Yeah, the brain. Thomas Fuchs wrote a remarkable book about that as a neurologist and psychologist and philosopher. Thomas Fuchs, the brain, a relationship organ. Because the best brain formation is when the brain has to perceive, to receive all the inputs from the body's skillful movement, and the connection between the sense perception and the objects in the environment. So to bring together the body skills and the environmental impressions, that forms the brain. And the biggest time of brain formation is the first 9 years of life, and the smaller, the more rapidly all the connections are made. Therefore, children are in the first 7 years of life, as we all know, they are permanently in movement. They love to be self-active. Therefore, the worst we can do is to make them sit still in front of the screen. It is a lost half an hour or hour for their sensomotoric intelligence development, as we say in mainstream medicine. Imitation is the best stimulation for the sense perception, motoric, action, development, inclusive brain formation. Therefore, intelligence, sensomotoric intelligence. Yeah, and what intelligence is developing first in the first year of life? That is attention, concentration and attention. When children learn to focus, they play sometimes hours with their fingers. They have all the patience, all the concentration, they learn to focus. So the worst we can do with children, to bring them everywhere along, to drive them face in front into the crowd, and they cannot concentrate. They have no calm, no peace. So in the moment we understand what are the needs of a child in the first year to develop its age-appropriate faculty, then we need to create a space in which the child can concentrate and to play with one object, with simple objects, learn to combine, learn to handle, learn to focus. I worked also for 10 years as a Waldorf school doctor beside my pediatric practice. And I cannot tell you how many problems we have then later with attention deficiency. And then I always asked, how was the first year of life? Yeah. What you can get if you help the development in the right time, then you have it for life. When you miss that, you have later to do learning. That's much more harder. Of course, we can learn lifelong to concentrate us, but if the brain is not in a good formation to train that, then it's much more difficult. Yeah, and then the second year of life, the children put then all their concentration and attention into listening. They go out of the sight, they go into listening, and therefore they start to learn as much as possible new words every day. They have a sense for process. They love if the water is running. They love if something is moving. They develop the sense for time and process, for beginning and end. And in this time, of course, they need adults who speak properly, not too fast, who are able to listen before they talk. So children can learn through imitation and through training by their own what they want to achieve. And in the third year already, they go with their attention out of space, out of time, into the realm of thinking. And then they discover this remarkable, how can I say, this remarkable discovery. One moment, I changed my position. I hope you can see me. I was standing, now I sit. Yeah, and that is wonderful. They discover their potential to think. I am I. This is the first conscious thought. And before that time, people have no memory. And after that time, they remember their whole life story. Because this I am thought is telling us permanently, that's all me. That's all my experience. So we start to live, to wake up, I can also say, in this eternal space of our mind, where we live from that moment on parallel to our physical life, a life in thinking, a life in mind. Yeah, and then the fourth year. Now the children are eager to bring all this together, to train it together. And that is movement, speech, and meaningful words, thoughts. And therefore, they love two words most. One is again, and the other is why. Because that makes the adults to repeat a nice verse, a nice song, a nice play, a nice gesture play. They like it. Movement, speech, words, an adult who is doing and giving a good example how to do so that the children can imitate. And then they say again, or they want to hear it another time, or they have a question and say, why? And what do they learn? They learn to repeat. If we want in later life children in school who repeat until they are able to do something, then we need to give them the chance to repeat again and again in the fourth year of life. That is the main year. Of course, we have mixed age groups mostly. So we do what is good for all these children and specify, if possible, for the very small, a more peaceful, smaller area, and for the other, a more louder area. And some things together. And now in the fifth year, children develop a remarkable ability for fantasy. They discover my thinking is much more powerful than the objects. I can tell a stick, is this a sword? Is this an umbrella? Is this something to clean the ground? So they combine objects with their fantasy and can create stories and can go in their fantasy, in their thoughts, in their visions, far beyond the real objects. And that is, if we allow the child to live in its fantasy and to play creatively like this, then the child has the chance to develop also later in life this faculty to make plans or to make theories or to make inventions of things who are not yet existing, to plan an invisible future, to be really creative. And if not, we have so many people who have no ideas, who are not creative. They had not the chance to develop that faculty. The brain is not ready for that. Yeah, and in the 6 years, in the 6th year, again, this rounds up and a new desire comes to develop a clear sense of reality, to bring together thinking and observation in the most precise form. Then children paint their pictures very realistic. They want to play how it is in reality. So the real clothing or the real objects, at least they must look like it is in reality. They have this desire. So these are 6 forms of cognitive and reflective, intelligent possibilities. And in the 7th year, this is rounded up by developing the faculty of abstract thinking. That they can keep thoughts in mind, even a whole story they have heard only once, independent of time and space. And that is what we are testing as the main quality which makes children ready for the school. School readiness is that if the teacher says something, for example, reflect for tomorrow, this or that, or tomorrow I would like to know, what did you see new on your way to school? Yeah, those children who have this abstract memory, they will not forget and will then give answer next morning. Those who forget it, of course, the teacher says, doesn't matter, maybe next year or not next year, but next week or next month, you will be able to keep it in mind, you will observe, but for the teacher, it is a clear impression, this child, I need to be careful, it is not yet in this stage of development. So I need to give this child a bit more time and not force it, but support its age-appropriate faculties. Why is childhood a total other mindset? Because only when abstract thinking comes with 7th, 8th year, sometimes also in the 6th year, so it's an average, the 7th year. Because when this abstract thinking occurs, the beginning of a split mind we all as adults have starts. The splitting between thinking and observation. For us as adults, the world performs on the one hand by what we see with our senses, and on the other hand, what we think. Therefore, we see a lot what we don't understand, and we think a lot for which we have no real objective experience and own vision. It's two worlds, and we feel more and more better and really good the better we bring these two worlds together. But we need to do this out of our own interest. It comes not by itself. But in the first 7 years of life, when we imitate, thinking and observation is still together. Therefore, children are clairvoyant, although they mostly don't speak about that because they don't know that this is not normal. But sometimes we are witnessing this clairvoyancy. But why are they clairvoyant? Because what they see, they understand, and they even do. They are completely living in reality. They understand what they do what they understand, and it's all self-experience. It is life. It is living with us, with what we do, what we understand, and they develop through this imitation faculty this beautiful child's mindset, because through every experience the child has, this mindset wakes up. So the whole development is a wake-up process of this quinta essentia. And the first which become conscious is the sensomotoric intelligence, these forms of cognition and of interacting motorically and sensorically with the environment. And between 7 and 14, the whole emotional faculties are emerging. And beyond 14, 15, beautifully, the whole self-thinking, self-willing, self-directing, self-controlling faculties are emerging. The use of our free will can only perform beyond puberty. And therefore, screen work is healthy after puberty, but not during the emotional development, which needs the direct emotional contact and struggling, and in the first 7 years of life. If one wants to serve best the development, of course, every day and every individual situation, in every kindergarten situation, we have compromises with the real life and the possibilities. But if we don't know the ideal, what gives children the chance to experience themselves, to become self-standing, self-active? If we don't have this ideal and create our kindergarten daily structure along these ideals best possible, then we cannot do the best possible we can do. So childhood today can be given back if we understand the first years of development, how the invisible pre-birth child is taking hold and establishing itself in the growing up little body, and then liberating the spiritual forces again, my own eternal life forces in my thinking, my own eternal soul forces in my feeling, and my eternal human being, my I, my eternal I, they then slowly, slowly come up because I don't live them out perfectly by nature. Nature holds these forces back, but give them in my own hands. And if the environment allows me to discover my own potential, my own identity by myself through good conditions, then I have this benefit really to live in an age-appropriate way as a child with my specific childhood mindset, and can prepare the fundament for a healthy physical constitution, inclusive a healthy brain formation, which allows then the higher functions and capacities to learn in later life. Yeah, dear friends, I round it up here, and I'm glad now to hear your questions so that we can digest this a little bit together. And if I failed and you expected things I did not say, it's now the chance to accomplish.
No, thank you. It was an amazing lecture. So, okay, let's see if we will have questions here in our organization room. And if somebody have online questions, so please write.
Galbūt klausimų? Norėtumėt kažko paklausti, Michaelos?
No, here is no questions, and let's wait a few more seconds for online people. Maybe they will type something or will ask. So if somebody would like to ask, just turn on your microphone.
Then maybe I can show you a book in which you can deepen what I said and read more. And that is the book Education for the Future. I don't know if someone knows this or have this already.
Yeah,
So
we have it.
you can really deepen that, and that might be helpful. When Rudolf Steiner started the first kindergarten, and Helene von Cornelius, 100 years ago, asked him, what is the most essential? Then he answered, most essential is this good moral contact to the children, and that you allow the child to imitate and to observe by its own. Yeah, today in modern psychology, we name this self-activity. Yeah, but that is really what is the main thing. So I wish you all the best. If there are no further questions, have a wonderful day and enjoy your beautiful profession.
Thank you so much, Michaela. Thank you for your wisdom and sharing your knowledge with us. All the best to you too. So greetings from Lithuania.
Bye-bye.